Gobble, 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 gobble.
Damn.
The Fantasy Football Show in the house. What's going on, great people? All the great land. You already know what it is. It's your guy, Nicholas Wilcox. It's your guy, Johnny Main. We here, the Fantasy Football Show, Turkey Edition, Thanksgiving Edition, Black Friday Edition, the Fantasy Football Show. We out here. Let's go. Hype and ready to rock and roll on this Wednesday. We're not usually here on a Wednesday, but guess what? We out here for y'all. We're here for the people. Johnny, say what's up to the great people.
Happy Thanksgiving Eve, man. I hope everybody is got everything settled up and squared up that they need for for Thanksgiving as far as food and stuff, man. I know it's kind of what's going on in my crib right now is that. So hope everybody's good to go. Hope everybody, if you're traveling, obviously this is something good to listen to while you're doing that. But the other thing too, man, is pretty pumped up tonight for the Stranger Things, was it season 5 premiere? So
final season.
Yeah. Me and my oldest, once we get done with this right here, I'll be making some DFS lineups and watching some Stranger Things. So I'm pretty pumped, man. Pretty pumped, bro.
Pretty pumped is right, yo. Out here. I'm not sure if I'm deciding to get my drink on tonight or later tomorrow. Not sure which one it's going to be, but we're going to find out. With that being said, Turkey Edition of Fantasy Football Show out here. We talk about DFS, obviously, giving you guys props, betting lines, and going game by game. We got 4 games to break down, so we're going to dive right into it. If y'all got any season-long questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. We'll get to them. And obviously, if there's any waiver wire still going on because we just had them, we'll be happily and gladly be able to answer those for you too. So, if you ain't liked or subscribed to the channel, please do so. Tell all your friends and family, Facebook, TikTok, the Spotify, of course on X. Feel free to show all the love because we appreciate y'all. So, we're gonna dive right in. First game we got on the docket is Packers, Lions, classic Thanksgiving teams, right?
Yeah.
1 p.m. start. It's usually a 12:30 start. Packers getting 2.5 going into Detroit. Both teams have 7 wins on the year, over under 47.5 currently. Watch your books because that could change in terms of how things unfold. We're talking about this obviously the night before. So that being said, Johnny, where do you see this? I honestly feel like both Packers and the Lions have been just weird lately, particularly the Lions. Lions are just, I feel like for the last couple of years, they just have not looked like the same S team. They gave up so much yardage to James Winston, these Giants, that I think I was flabbergasted a little bit that it happened because I'm like, how'd this game even go to overtime? Wait, what's happening here? And then Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
I don't know how to call either one of these teams, so feel free to give us the insights on this one.
I'm with you on this one, man. I think this one is a coin flip, right? It's very easy to look at this game and be like, okay, the Lions should win this game. I'm pretty sure they played last Thanksgiving as well. If it wasn't last Thanksgiving, it was the one before that. But either way, Jordan Love actually took that game, and the Packers ended up winning that game in Detroit, obviously. So I think this is it's a very similar situation, I think. And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure Green Bay actually beat them earlier on in the season as well.
First game of the season,
yeah, that's what I thought. So so I think this is a spot where crazy enough, maybe the Packers plus the 2.5 is not crazy in this space here. I mean, definitely got some insights on the game as far as just the players overall. Ironically enough, Jared Goff, 8 passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions on Thanksgiving Day games. So that's a good beat for for your DFS lineups right there. If you kind of subscribe to that, which I think there's something to be said there. And then in that same breath, just talking about Thanksgiving games, on the Lions side, Jahmyr Gibbs, the hottest fantasy player, the hottest football player in the entire universe. Literally.
Literally.
So when I tell you this, like I had to like double think. I was like, am I sure I'm reading this correctly? Jahmyr Gibbs is averaging 44 rushing yards per game versus the Packers in his career history and 20 receiving yards. And he has one rushing touchdown and one receiving touchdown. And it's even kind of hard to even comprehend that, given the fact that like Jahmyr Gibbs has just went absolutely nuclear the last 2 weeks, for fantasy and for real life football for sure. And then like just on the opposite side of that, like with the Lions is JMO. Like I think like when you look at like DFS lineups for sure, that's a guy that like I'm like, okay, wow, it looks like we got some awesome stuff here in the chat. I'm going to give him one more chance here, or either we're just getting ready to ban him here or put user in timeout. We'll do that. We'll put user in timeout. Let's do that. I don't even know who that is. I don't know who it is.
Never seen it.
It's like, yeah, I have no idea. Like literally broken right now. JMO, man, has run 30 routes or more, but with that being said, in 2 of his last 5 games, he's been held without a catch. So I think he's like one of the biggest wild cards. Like when we look at the DFS slate or even like from a prop betting side of things, we know what it is, man, with him. We know it's the ultimate boom or bust. So I thought those were some pretty interesting takes from the Lions. And then like when I look at the Packers side of things, Jordan Love, he's been pressured on almost 35% of his dropbacks so far. That's the highest in his entire 3 seasons. But he's only been sacked 17 out of those 127 times. I think it's going to be super adamant as far as the coverage goes for the Detroit Lions and the wide receivers for the Packers. I think that's what it is. 3rd down for Jordan Love. He's been money, man. 15 yards per attempt as far as passes goes. That's the highest in the NFL. And then Christian Watson, man. Christian Watson, talking about him a couple of weeks here. I know like you had mentioned kind of stashing him a few weeks ago in the waiver side of things, like classic me, just a year or 2 early. But for him right now, man, he's the only guy who's run more than 5 routes and has been targeted multiple times inside the red zone. 2 receptions for 18 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I think like that's a really good place to go when you look at the Green Bay Packers as far as wide receivers and your DFS lineups. And then I'm actually going to throw something out there that's like really weird. Well, actually not really weird before I get to that actually. Yards after catch, man. That's another area for the Green Bay Packers they've struggled at since the Tucker Kraft injury, man. 3 of the last 4 weeks, they've had their lowest outputs. And it's no surprise that it was Tucker Kraft who was actually in the top 5 in that stat. So I'm going to switch it over to defense because I talked about Jahmyr Gibbs, and I think like we're all like, okay, like if Jahmyr Gibbs, like the rushing aspect of things, like if that doesn't pop for him, it's typically like the receiving side of things. So I introduced to you Edgerrin Cooper, linebacker for the Green Bay Packers. Hasn't allowed a touchdown in 58 targets faced in coverage this season. That's the most of any linebacker in that space. And since he's been drafted since 2024, he's faced the 3rd most targets past the line of scrimmage without allowing a touchdown. So I'm saying all this to say that, like, for as much as like we might want to hammer the Jahmyr Gibbs, maybe there might be a reason not to. Like, I'm not saying not to, obviously. Like, if you haven't season longs, obviously you're going to play him. That's a no-brainer. But like DFS, obviously we know how these slates go. You have to get weird. You have to get different in some spaces. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that all that data just says like maybe it's David Montgomery time. Maybe. I don't know. I said that last week, and then I ended up donating a lot of money to FanDuel University.
Incorporated.
Oh yeah, and then I'll hit the we'll just call it university because I got school. Ownership side of things from this game, obviously, I'm gonna play DraftKings and I'm gonna play FanDuel tomorrow because really on Thanksgiving, why would you not ball out and play on both sites and bet and do everything? This is just part of like Thanksgiving tradition, man. And the best part about it is my nephews will all be there hanging out, trying to tell me about how they all know more. One of them's actually kind of smart. The rest of them just think they know stuff, but they really don't. But I love them anyway. Amon-Ra is the highest owned player in this game. Projected, 40%. He's the highest owned player in this space. Then the next highest owned player is Gibbs, and for the Packers is Christian Watson, which I think that's right. So yeah, man, like for the game, I think I'm going to take I am going to take the Packers in the plus 2.5. I think, I've been on record for saying before, like Christian Watson fan of, but Jordan Love also a fan of. And I think we know like the biggest domino we're waiting to fall is, does Josh Jacobs play?
Yeah. He should be good to go as far as practice reports go. Josh Jacobs. So, look, this is like just so tough. Jared Goff, 1-3 in Thanksgiving games since he's been a Lion. Doesn't give you much vote of confidence. Jordan Love, 2-0 in this same space. However, this season for the Lions, they are 7-1 when scoring 21 points or more. So it's like it's just there's things that I'm just like, there's data, there's also tape. You know what I'm saying? It's like which one do I go with? Packers have the highest the worst remaining schedule for the rest of the season. So their schedule only gets harder from here. So it's tough to kind of weigh things out. In this matchup, the Lions, they've been playing a ton of man coverage and just been getting burnt by it. They are the fourth best matchup to receivers. The problem here for the Packers is like outside of Christian Watson, like Romeo Dobbs, stuff like that. Is Matthew Golden playing? I didn't see if he was or not. I know it was questionable last time I checked. They don't use Luke Musgrave anymore, apparently. So again, like Josh Jacobs, like him being back in the fold should keep things on point for Green Bay. I guess the prediction for me is, I guess I'm gonna go Packers as well, because I think that I just don't know what Detroit's been doing. Like in terms of like keeping themselves ahead of the sticks. Like from my point of view, it's like Green Bay and Detroit, both of these teams are kind of playing for supremacy for the division still. They're behind the Bears.
Yeah, I was about to say. My boy Caleb Williams in the Bears now. Yeah.
The one thing I'll say about Gibbs though is that like Packers have been allowing over 100 yards from scrimmage from the last 3 or 4 games to running backs. So there's been a running back that's done that at least in every game besides one in the last 4. So this game, I think I'm gonna take the over on this. I think that if the Lions have any say of winning this one at home, it's going to happen through Jared Goff's arm and this offense. Mon-Ra leads the NFL in first read target rate. So this is something where I think we'll see how things shape out. Green Bay just has the better defense on paper, like a Parsons, obviously. So look, I'm just going to take Green Bay. I'll take the points for them and see how things fold out. Next game, Chiefs, Cowgirls, 4:30 p.m. Eastern game. Look, both of these teams have been, man, like the Chiefs have been like a weird team. Like it feels like every game they're in, and then all of a sudden it's like, at least for the last, like the first half of the season, just felt like they kind of like lost themselves in certain games, especially in like marquee matchups. Obviously took care of business last week coming from behind. And now coming into Dallas obviously plays better at home. And in terms of how I see both of these teams, like the defense for the Cowboys have gotten a bit better because of Quentin Williams. He has some bruised ribs right now, so I'm not sure if he's going to play. He's definitely the difference maker for at least for a run game perspective. Cowboys can still very beatable. They play zone coverage 80% of the time. So they're playing still a ton of cover 3, ton of cover 4s, and they're still getting burnt by it every single week. So yeah, there's something to watch out for that when it comes to Mahomes. Chiefs lead the NFL in pass rate over expected coming into this one. So definitely a spot where the reason why we see a 52.5 point total is most likely because of a concoction of those things happening in this one. I'm just not too sure. I don't know. Look, this could be like the highest scoring game of the slate. Although we have another one that is over. The Bengals and Ravens are also over 50-something points, and that should be something where, based on historical standards, we've seen that over hit before. So, as far as this game, like, I think I'm gonna take the Chiefs in the points. I know it's out of box for this scenario for the Chiefs because they're just a better team at home, just like Dallas is, in terms of covering and stuff. And it does worry me that a little bit that they aren't the best road team. But here's the thing: Chiefs again know they have to, they know what they have to do. They got to be a team that is, in Dallas that is somewhat, a game, not a gimme game, but a spot in which with Mahomes and these guys knowing that they're still clawing their way out of the playoff, like the back end of the playoff race right now, and trying to still maintain relevancy to at least find a way to get the division away from Denver. Still, they know they have to keep on winning. I just think Spags against Dak Prescott is going to be very interesting from a schematic perspective. Obviously we know Spags loves to run third down blitzes. They're a top 5 defense in that category. So that's what's going to come down to me, third down conversions. Dallas is going to be able to convert their third downs at home with the offense that they have. Obviously, Lamb, Pickens, Javonte Williams, like Jake Ferguson, like all these guys. It will be a long day for the Chiefs defense, but if Spagnuolo finds ways to get at Dak, especially on third down, they can't convert. Chiefs going to keep on running the football, potentially with Kareem Hunt, setting up plays for Rice and Kelsey, and to just attack this Dallas defense. So give me the Chiefs and the points. Give me the slight over in this one.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This is a weird one. Like it's definitely a weird one, and it's a weird one just for a lot of different reasons. And I'll start on the Kansas City side for Mahomes. Like really just for him over the last 3 games, man, 1 passing touchdown, 3 interceptions, 72 rating over his last 3 games. Not exactly Patrick Mahomes. And I think he was like 17 touchdowns and 4 interceptions or 2 interceptions or something like that before that. So he hasn't been playing really good football over the last handful of games, which obviously I believe they've lost 2 out of their last 3 for sure. And then the other part, man, is just, and I think you can say this about any quarterback. So it's not like it's like earth shattering news, but like he drops dramatically under pressure, like versus his 72% completion percentage versus the 38 completion percentage when he's under pressure. And you talked about Quentin Williams and like the impact like he's had on the run game. Hasn't just been on the run game either, man. It's also been in the passing game, man, as well. He's also this first 2 games, 13 pressures and 1.5 sacks, 22% pressure rate. It's third highest in the NFL over 20 pass rushes, and that's obviously interior, right? So I'm curious to see how that's going to play out, and then. This isn't the same Dallas defense, man. I think this isn't the same Dallas defense we've been able to pick on Kenneth Murray Jr. and Logan Wilson. Wilson, obviously, coming from Cincinnati. The couple games that they played together, 2 receptions for 11 yards. So like they've gotten better in a couple of those spaces there, man. And I'm saying that to say that like it's not the same pushover that like we've seen all season long. And then you obviously you have Trent McDuffie and where do you put him? Like, do you put him on George Pickens, which I think like the stats are saying that like he should go travel with George Pickens because Dak Prescott's quarterback rating with George Pickens is like damn near like 120, I believe is what it is. And that's actually it's 134.4. That's the highest in the NFL. And then even like when you look at somebody like Ferguson, it's 116. So I think obviously like if you're Andy Reid, right, like I mean, obviously, I'm just a C+ podcaster out here trying to get by on my, charisma and my charming looks. But like McDuffie, like that, it would make sense for him to go with George Pickens, right? Because it seems like the more that George Pickens does his thing, the better this offense is. So I think that's going to be like a really telltale sign as far as like how this game goes. And we know what the Cowboys have been on the back end, but again, I think a lot of that has been or was earlier on in the year. And you talked about the Chiefs defense, right? If they get there, we know what the end result is, but they haven't gotten there in a couple of spaces. And when they haven't gotten there, they've averaged over 8.1 yards per attempt when there's more than 5 pass rushers. And that's they're inside the top 10 in a negative fashion as far as that goes. So I think it will be very, very that will tell a lot about how this game will go. Will be Kansas City's blitz packages in their blitzing game. If they're able to get there, I think like that's going to tell some things. And then for all of the points that we're talking about, like in this space, like talking about Dallas and we're talking about their defense, and that's going to be able to tell some things as well as far as like how this game goes. I think there's points and times in season, right, where changes happen. And I talk about this all the time, whether it's defensively or whatever the case may be. One of the things I think that like we just didn't highlight, we didn't talk about, we just kind of swept it under the rug. And obviously, like it was a very terrible situation that happened with the Cowboys defensive player that passed away a few weeks ago. Those are the type of things that brings teams together. Those are the type of things that like builds camaraderie, right? And those are things that like for guys like us, right? Like we're not inside the locker room. We don't know what that is, right? But those are the type of things that like you can't put a dollar amount on. You can't put an analytical value to those type of things. And I think like the other fun fact I seen too, I think the last time the Cowboys and the Chiefs played, Marty Schottenheimer was actually the coach for the Kansas City Chiefs. So again, just another storyline and another narrative, because it's fun to talk about like those type of things, right? So like in this game, like as crazy as this sounds, I think I'm going to take the Cowboys in the points. Like I'm just going to take the points for the Cowboys side. Let me clarify that, just because I think they're in a space where they're just playing better football. They're playing better football than they played all season long. I think there is a sense of belief now there, especially when you beat a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champs, and then you turn back around the next week and you have the team that they played in the Super Bowl. I think there's something to be said there in that space. So I'm actually looking forward to this game. I think this is actually going to be the best real football game of the day. As far as ownership goes, Rashee Rice is coming in at 37%, followed by CeeDee Lamb at 34%. So everybody's not really quite ready yet to subscribe to George Pickens as the overall number one wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. Although at this point, man, it's kind of hard to say that he's not. It's kind of hard to say that he's not, because even in the space, man, where is it at? He's got 439 yards receiving against man coverage this year. The next closest guy is the one guy that everybody's been talking about as the best wide receiver in football so far this year, JSN. So, I think I'll take the points with the Cow. I'll mess with the Cowboys in the points on this one.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you're going to take your L for saying that the Pickens Rico Dallo trade was. Oh no.
Yeah, that's a L. Like that's a L right there for sure. Like that's a L. But I mean, I also own George Pickens. I would imagine probably in a lot more leagues than you do. So
I don't know. Do you?
Oh yeah, guaranteed.
Well, you got 22 leagues. That makes sense.
How many shares of George Pickens do you have?
3.
Okay, that's fair.
3 out of my 9. So percentage wise, it's not bad.
Okay, all right, that's cool. That's cool.
But anyhow, you got your Cowgirls, huh? Go Cowgirls. Okay.
Yeah, no, man. I'm making this pick off of, not emotion. I'm making this pick off of just like what I'm seeing, right? And it's kind of hard to go against like all of those things that like we've been talking about. It's not the same Dallas defense, and like shit, just like I know, man. Hell, Dallas is liable to go out there and give up 47 points, but I just think like it's a perfect storm where Dallas's defense has been playing much better.
I think the front seven is a different. We're talking about different defense. I think the back end.
The back end is the back end. Yeah,
we're still talking about a defense that's going to play a ton of zone coverage, and although they've been pretty decent against the slot this season, still expect that there's other weapons still for the Kansas City Chiefs to go to if they can't get Rice open immediately. Obviously Travis Kelce, like did we forget about him? So
no,
we'll have to find out. But would it shock me that the Chiefs don't cover? Yeah, no, because they're not the best road team. All of a sudden just covered by a field goal. So it is what it is. But I agree with you in terms of like this is gonna be the best probably tit for tat game competitively on the season. Dynasty is my life. Welcome, my friend. Please like, subscribe to the channel. Must win week for him. Start 3. We have Warren, that's Tyler Warren, versus Houston. Gadsden versus the Raiders. We got Wan'Dale Robinson versus New England. We have Pittman versus Houston. QJ versus Raiders. And then Franklin, Sunday Night Football against the Commanders. So he has to pick 3, and then one of them has to be a tight end.
Definitely Tyler Warren. Definitely. I think we can both start there and agree there.
I'm just looking at the other options just to be sure.
Yeah, like I'll start there, and I'll say that, man. Like I just don't, I can't find and I know I can kind of see what his conundrum is now with Tyler Warren and Pittman. Yeah, I can see that.
But I mean, if it's between those two, and Tyler Warren all day because Houston's pass defense, they're stifling.
Yeah.
Stingley and those boys are stifling. So.
Well, yeah, they are, and like they're another team that's playing. They're playing better than what they played during, to start the regular season for sure. And this is a big game for both of these teams, actually, man. For Indy and Houston. Yeah. So I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Tyler Warren, man, and I'm not even gonna play into. It's hard not to play into the Stingley factor because he probably is gonna lock up Pittman, facts. Wandell, I think you have to play him. I don't think that's just as tough. Yeah, that's just as tough. Honestly, but that's just as tough. That's just as tough of a matchup as Pittman against Houston. Literally, it's just as tough. So yeah, I think, but Troy Franklin though, low key, low key, Troy Franklin. So all right, so I'll go Warren, I'll go Franklin. And I'll go Wandell.
I guess for me, we're really close because it really comes down to that. It came down to Franklin or Gadsden for me.
I figured.
So I'm probably going to go Gadsden, Warren, Gadsden, and Wandell. Wandell, I'm not, he's I'm just – I guess the only thing I have about Wandell right now is he's been on heater with Jameis Winston. Yeah. Now with Jackson Dart is back, does that take away from his ceiling? Yes, because Dart runs the football. So, I don't know. Well, I'm still going to stick with Wandell just, because half-point PPR, you're going to get all the target and volume there. Franklin, you're just hoping for a decent, 4 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown, hopefully. Hopefully more in that spot. But, again, who knows how highly the Commanders are going to be competitively. We hear Jaden Daniels might be playing, but I have no idea at this moment in time yet. So, I think they're probably pushing it for next week anyway, but either way, Marcus Mariota again. So, I'll take Gadsden, Warren, and Wandell for halfway PPR. I think the Chargers find a way to get their swag back a little bit. I know their offensive line is still a bit more beat up, so that should help Gadsden take away being a short area target. Obviously, Allen and Ladd are going to be fighting for that too, but this could be a game where the Chargers stick to their run game, get their quick passes out. I don't think QJ is an option for me here, just because he's too volatile. In a week where you got to have, in this situation, you want to have some safety, but also finding ways to find some ceiling for the guys you start here. So that's where, QJ would be. It would see something that I'm not really seeing. All of a sudden, he burns the Raiders one time. It could happen, but I wouldn't bank my season on it. Let's just say that. Barons, welcome, my guy. Welcome. Please subscribe to the channel. Asking for a trade. Ooh. So trade Swift and Daniel Jones for Bucky and BTJ.
Nope. BTJ banned from my life.
I would do this trade alone just for Bucky, Swift, and Daniel Jones. So yeah, smash that.
Do you want to see what the rest of his roster looks like?
Yeah. That'd be something a good question to ask. Yeah, Barons, let us know what your roster looks like.
What is
then he said
on?
Also trade Rico Dowell for Trevion Henderson.
What is going on?
That should be interesting.
Yeah.
That should be interesting.
Oh. I have to look at the schedule.
Well, actually, on bye next week.
I was about to say the Pats are on bye, so that's one of the things that have
it's a stinker.
Yeah.
No, that's not great.
That's not good. That's not good. That's not good, especially first round of the playoffs.
And the Panthers get the Rams this Sunday, so it's
yikes. Yeah, you might want to stay away from that. Yeah.
That's rough, man. That's really rough. If you could afford to get rid of Dowell, like I guess, but I'd be interested to see what the rest of your roster looks like, so we can look at the running backs for you. But yeah, I mean, look, if you're trading away Swift and Deion Jones for Bucky BTJ, yeah, I would do that because look, this is house money. If you're getting Bucky, you know what I'm saying? He's coming back. He'll be worked into the offense, at least for this week. But sometimes those things with coach speak happens is only so we're gonna work him in, and all of a sudden 20 carries and 5 catches out the backfield, and like I thought we are gonna work him in. Game flow.
Did you hear the story? Did you hear the story like with him, like the mental health deal or whatever?
Stuff,
yeah. Like and like I don't know, like I just like that. I think that's my only like hang up with like Bucky. Like it's just like that, along with like obviously like we're later on in the season, and this is actually last year. This is kind of where he started to take off was later on in the season because he's just like the reality of the situation, man. Is he's just not built to carry the ball, 250, 275 times. So I think that's another caveat that like you have to.
And the same thing about Devon Achane, though. So
yeah, but there was a cool stat like with that, and Devon Achane actually fell just closely on the other side of the stat. Devon Achane is slightly over 200 pounds. Bucky Irving is not. And there was that stat with Bucky, or just with running backs, just in general, about how 40% of them typically, if they are under 200 pounds, how they don't get back to that 250 carry mark. And again, to your point, like we're later on in the season, so like it's a different animal. But I just think it is something just to be a little bit leery of. And it was
me, I like Swift. You know what I'm saying? But it's like. I like Swift, but it's like if I'm getting Bucky plus BTJ, like
BTJ, like bro, BTJ, he ain't like I'd want to see the rest of the roster, but BTJ, like he's not BTJ, he's Brian Thomas Jr. right now. Like I'm not gonna call him BTJ because like that we ain't on that. So like again, like I'll die saying this. Like it's easy to want to trade for a player when you don't roster him and he's been shitty all year. Like, yeah, you're all in on it because you can fix them for sure. So, like, just letting you know. Just letting you know, Baron.
Last couple of weeks, you've been on a roll, yo. You've been on a roll last couple of weeks.
Speaking from
you've got me to crack for sure last couple of weeks, yo. Like, there's always one segment in our show last couple of weeks.
Brian Thomas Jr. is typically where it starts, and I knew it was one of those things where I was like, I'm gonna take him, but I was like, no, dude. I was like, I shouldn't take him, but I was like, what's he doing here? I'm like, it's the second, I was like picking 7 in a 12-team league. I'm like, he shouldn't be here. I was like, oh, I'm gonna take him, and I'm gonna feel good about it because I'm like, I'm not reaching for him. Like, I'm not reaching for him. He literally fell to me. Literally the worst pick I made all season long in that league. Literally.
Damn.
Literally the worst pick I made. Oh, God, man. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, we got off topic, but it's okay. That made my night. Yep, Johnny definitely is on one for sure. Just get him talking about BTJ or the Steelers when they lose. We got question from Haywood. He's talking about start one. You got Manungai, Dobbs, Swift, Pacheco, Shakir. Buffalo plays
Pittsburgh. Yeah, they'll blow it.
Man, it comes down to, I guess. I don't know. Probably Shakir though. Probably Shakir for me. I would say Swift because of like him going back to Philly, revenge little narrative. But I would say Shakir for this one.
Oh, okay. So he's got Swift is who he was looking at. The Bears play the Eagles. There's a revenge narrative for you that could blow your mind right there. Like a risky one. Pacheco would be no go for me. Dobbs, I'm always down to play him. Oh, and you got Manungai, so that's kind of like
that's fun.
Yeah. So I think I'd probably be more in like the Dobbs, Shakir,
over all these guys.
Manungai and Swift are like they're in the top, like they play for the same team and they're playing the Eagles this week. Like, I mean, I would cross them off Pacheco. Like, he's been getting beat out by Kareem Hunt. Like, who knows? Like, what, going to come back and have 6 carries? Like, he's not going to get the red zone work. Dude, Kareem Hunt, bro, there's a stat I seen today. Kareem Hunt, 29 out of 32 short yardage situations he's executed to and has gotten it, bro. Like, Pacheco is like, so it literally, like, honestly, it literally is between Dobbs, Swift, and Shakir. And I could see why you would want to play Shakir going against a shitty Pittsburgh secondary. Like, of course, like, that makes perfect sense why you would do that. You know what? I'm going to lean into Shakir too, just for the same reason. Like, why not? They don't cover anybody. It's 3rd and 24. Why don't we play cover 3 and let DJ Moore run right down the middle of the field untouched?
Pretty much that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? And then followed by Romeo Dobbs for you, Haywood.
Oh my goodness. Yep, there it is. Another question. Alex, welcome to the chat, my guy. Please like, subscribe to the channel. Show the love, bro. So week 13, what do we think? Well, he has May, Henderson. They're about to be on bye next week. Harvey, Wandell, JSN, Bride, Judkins, the bench, JJ. Is that JJ McCarthy or Jefferson? Woody, Bucky, Emeka, Loveland, Pierce, and Algier in a 10-man 9-3. Yeah, that looks sharp. There's a follow-up question to this?
I'll drop one. I'll drop one real quick for this guy. First of all, appreciate it, man. But I love that because actually I have a very, very similar construction in my 12-team auction league. I don't have May, but I have Harvey.
Auction league I'm in with you, or the auction league you're in with me, or
no, it's not that one. No, this one's mine. I have Harvey, Wandell, J. It's an auction keeper league. It's so I've got Harvey, Wandell, JSN, and McBride, and I found a really interesting stat actually about Wandell, JSN, and McBride all together. And actually, I think no, it's not. Maybe Emeka's in that group. I know those 3 names are in there for sure, and maybe Emeka. No, it was Pickens. That's who it was. But those 3 guys right now are all in the top 10 in receiving yards right now. So like, bro, like you, like if that's it is a PPR league, man. Like you're cooking for sure. And I'm assuming JJ has got to be Justin Jefferson because in a 10-team league, I can't imagine that he's holding on to JJ McCarthy with some of the other options that are out there. And then obviously, and so you're fine, man, because you have Henderson. So Woody will be able to Woody or Bucky, you'll be able to slide right into Henderson's spot whenever the break happens. So yeah, I mean, you're in a pretty good place, bro. Like, I like that team.
Definitely, I do too. And I think the biggest thing, I do think the biggest difference that really puts this team together is McBride. McBride is literally so, like, JSN, obviously, you know what I'm saying? He's been pretty much the wide receiver 1 all year.
But that's what I was talking about. McBride is in that same group. He's in that same group as like in the top 10 in receiving. So that's the G code. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's like because people weren't even drafting him like he was going to be tight end 1 overall. Like he was still going like late 3rd, stuff like that. So like
we're coming up in the world.
I love this. Well,
God might be that way.
Hey man,
God might be that way.
Gotta get some color in this space. You know what I'm saying? Like, 2 handsome black gentlemen out here. That's why. But that being said, thank you for that comment, Fire.
Yeah,
I really
appreciate you, brother.
But that being said, love this dang team. Definitely figure out who your quarterback will be for next week after May's on bye. But you're looking solid for real. Especially look, I think I just can't believe what I'm seeing in my eyes with Justin Jefferson in this Vikings team. But like, I can't really say much. I don't have many leagues. But
because that's exactly the way we mapped it out in August. Was like literally like the most productive wide receiver would take a shit in the middle of the field. Makes sense.
4 catches, 52 yards.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
It's terrible. It's awful. But yeah, going on to the final game, at least of the Thanksgiving slate, got the Bengals, got the Ravens. Bengals 7-point underdog going into Baltimore. Over under 52.5, according to DraftKings Sportsbook. The late night Sunday night but it's just the NBC Peacock broadcast. 8:20 p.m. start. Joey Burrow is back. And we'll see what happens. No T. Higgins. He's already ruled out for the concussion. Jamar Chase is back from his 1-game suspension. And then everything else should fall into place here. I think based on historical trends, we've always seen these matchups, at least for the last year or so, like just over and go bananas. Both teams just, throwing haymakers constantly. And it'll be interesting to see without Higgins. But I think for this game, for myself, I'm probably going to go, again, another matchup, just like the Lions-Packers, that were like, obviously the Bengals, they don't have much of a they don't have a chance to make playoffs or anything. But Burrow coming back for this game, like, you got to give it to him for the pride perspective. But I'm going to take the Ravens to cover because the last couple of weeks, I feel like it's so easy for the Ravens to kind of, be so flat. The Browns and the Jets, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it, it's going to go off. I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
I love it.
And yes, he does. He definitely does. So that's going to definitely be something to be of sight of. But I just think that with Baltimore getting healthier on defense, and like I said before, the last couple of weeks for them, they've just been really like flattish. So sometimes they just need, a team that's going to give them, actual like a shot back, like a shot back to their gut. So I expect the Ravens to come out and cover this one and win. It's going to be formidable for Burrow and Chase. I mean, obviously they are electric, and if you want to take the 7, I have no problem with that. I just think Baltimore finds a way to really control the running game, control that line of scrimmage, classic Baltimore football, and really, really just be methodical. We know Lamar's not healthy right now. Now he's just I feel like he's adding more injuries versus like getting rid of him.
Yeah.
And that takes away obviously from the run game, but Derrick Henry, like, he's going to be facing the worst run defense in the league. Like, if they can't get it done in this spot at home, then the Ravens don't deserve to be, in the playoff contention right now, in my opinion. What you got to say, Johnny?
There's a lot to unpack. Like, really, like, I think like you hit on like a lot of like the really good pieces, like as far as like Cincinnati and like Joey B being back now, and that changes like the dynamic of things. And like, obviously, hey, we're talking about it, man. So I'll just go ahead and get to it. 8 games for Jamar Chase against the Ravens. 120 yards is what he's averaging. And that's the highest. That's the highest mark by any player to play in at least 8 games against a single opponent in NFL history. So to say that Jamar Chase owns them is a small understatement. And then like the other part too is like Thursday night is like a national holiday for Jamar Chase. Literally, it's a Jamar Chase national holiday. The guy is averaging 14 catches, 212 yards, and 2 touchdowns in his last 2 Thursday night games. Like, that is wild. That is wild, right? So like literally 14 catches, 212 yards, and 2 touchdowns is what he's averaging. Like, that's unheard of, right? So there's that. So I think between that and then like I'll just throw out like one more Jamar Chase glaze stat, and then I promise I'll move on.
Nice.
I don't know, maybe 2. So Chase's top 5 most receiving yard games in his career, 3 of them have came against the Ravens. So like, again, I'm just telling you this just as a friend. Like, as someone being completely unbiased, I hate both of these teams equally. I probably hate the Ravens. Yeah, I probably actually hate I probably hate the Ravens a little bit more just because they've won more games. That's typically how I dictate which team I hate more. So there's that. And then when you look at and then the last thing is Joe Burrow, 2 games last season versus the Ravens, both L's to your point. So it makes sense why you take the Ravens. This is stupid. 820 yards and 9 touchdowns in 1 interception. 820 yards, 9 touchdowns in 1 interception. If you told me that the Bengals found a way to make this their Super Bowl, I would subscribe to that 1,000%. I would subscribe to it 1,000. I would subscribe to it 1,000%, like 1,000%. All right, so done with the Bengals. So now the Ravens, bro. You talk like Lamar is like it's something is off. Like he's got a career low as far as dude, career lows in scrambles, right? Like career lows in that space, career lows right now in design runs, right? All of these things, man, that like have made Lamar Jackson like super special over the last couple of years, have made him a dynamic fantasy player. He's actually becoming a better passer, which is great because like let's just call a spade, right? Like that's one of the things that's always been a knock for specific, black quarterbacks. Word to my homie out here in the chat. That's always Mr. Why are you black? That's always been a thing for black quarterbacks, right? So he's becoming a better passer, like right in front of our eyes. And I think like because of that, he's also understanding too, even though the health side of things, which I think is definitely playing a part of it, I think he's understanding too that like he doesn't need to take all of those shots. He's been great. I think actually he's in the top 5. Yes, he is hiding injury. I think he is in the top 5 as far as deep balls thrown. And Zay Flowers is actually one of the top 5 receivers as well as far as like deep balls, I believe, so far this season. So I think like that's a space that like could cause Cincinnati some problems, right? Is that right there? Now, Derrick Henry right now, crazy stuff with him, man. 78% of the time he's in the red zone, he's seeing 8+ defenders. That's actually up from 60.7% from last year. So damn near every time that they know it's a run. Congratulations, defensive coordinators. You've gotten smarter and you understand that when Derrick Henry is in the game for the 50% of the time, he's probably going to get the ball. Great observation. I love that right there. Henry has created 30 missed tackles. He's got 253 yards off of those. That's the most in the NFL. So, like, again, like a lot of like really good things that are there, but there's also some things that aren't. In the red zone, that's a problem for the Ravens right now. In 2024, they had the 3rd highest red zone success rate at 50.6%, which kind of correlates to like the Derrick Henry conversation. Now they're at 35 and some change, which is the 8th lowest in the NFL. If they're not able to find a way to score points tomorrow night, that's what's going to create a problem in this game. And that's what's going to give the Cincinnati Bengals an opportunity to win this game because we all know Joey B and Jamar Chase, they getting ready to get busy out there tonight.
Yep. And one more time. Yep. So who you got?
Oh, I'm gonna take the Ravens straight up, man. I'm gonna like I hate over-unders, but this is a game that's going over. I can't see a world where it doesn't go over.
Fair. Corey in the house. Appreciate you checking out the channel, my guy. Please like, subscribe.
I love this right here. I love this. I love that, bro. I love that.
So if you fade Gibbs on the slate, you can basically get every other smash play. Jamar, Lamb, Watson, Henry, Hunt, and Andrews. Curious if he's talking about DraftKings or FanDuel. I'm sure he's probably talking about DraftKings.
Probably DraftKings. Yeah.
Watson thrives against Detroit's coverage packages.
I'm with you.
Yep. We just talked about that earlier. Yep. Bengals in must-win mode. I mean,
must win.
They're not eliminated yet, but yeah, I don't think they're coming back. We should be ahead for to get in the end zone. Yeah, we'll see. It could be a back and forth contest, I feel, but definitely Hunt's been like, look, when you get the guy, like he's just been carrying the freaking rock like the mail. So, everything right there is definitely like valid. Pick one. K Space, what up? Pick one. Dobbs, Boutte, Godwin, Aaron Jones, full point PPR.
Godwin moves down my list if there's no Baker this week with Teddy. Like he'll probably still get some catches, like for sure. But I just think I think again coming off the injury, like this is what that was like the third game I think he had played, and like I think he had one game where he had like quite a bit of targets, but only brought in like six of them for like 50 yards, and then the next game he didn't do anything, and then he went out on that full blown leave. So like I think like the name sounds good, but I just don't think that like the player itself is like back up to like not even close to like where he was at last year. So and then Aaron Jones, Jesus, man, that's a mess in Minnesota. That's an unknown, man. That's an unknown because we have no idea how this kid's gonna play. I don't even remember his name, man. Was it Stetson or something? Easton Stetson, some shit.
Brahmer,
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. I'm like, I just like, okay, like, all right, cool, that's what we're doing. Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that, like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that, like, I've been watching like Division III quarterback film. Like, I'm not going to, man. Like, I want to see this guy just like you guys want to see him, or maybe you don't want to see him. But anyway, and then New England's got New York, so maybe. So I would say, like, if I was gonna pick, it'd be probably between Boutte and Dubs. Would be where I'd be hanging out at.
Yeah, same for me. I could give a little bit of a of a nudge to Aaron Jones in this spot too, but like you said, we don't know what to expect. We don't know if Max Brommer is going to be checking down the football enough to Aaron Jones. We don't know if that the split between those two, between him and Jordan Mason, is still going to contend. And against Seattle, it's like there's not going to be much, there in terms of running the football. So we'll just have to find out how that thing shakes out. So I'm not really confident about starting Aaron Jones, but this is definitely a tough question because we can start Romeo Doubs here. We can start Kayshon Boutte. Boutte, if he's healthy, we won't know until Monday night or officially till like late Sunday night or whatever if he's going to play. But I would take Boutte just because of the way that Giants still run, top 5-man coverage in the league, still very burnable downfield in terms of X receivers. So it's just, again, the game script doesn't really call for that. So if you want to start Romeo Doubs here, I wouldn't mind that one either because of just how the game flow should go between Green Bay and Detroit. But again, it's tomorrow's game versus like the last game of the slate. So it's also just something to be mindful of too. So it's
Dobbs is safe for Boutte's upside. Like that's really and like you and to your point, you don't have the luxury of being able to watch some games and then make the decision on how things are going. Like you got to make the decision.
I agree.
Godspeed.
And about Lamar, he's probably hiding an injury, stuff like that. Just like we were talking about, something weird's going on with Lamar here. It's like he's not running the football. Like he's just feeling like he is like a shell of himself out there. So just something to be mindful of. And then so Alex, going back to Alex, traded away Nico and Barkley for JSN and ETN in week 4. And traded ETN and Gadsden for a Mecca. Look, like I think at the time I would have probably told you Nico and Barkley for JSN and ETN would have probably been a bit much. Because ETN was still in ways like he was coming out, but it was also like, was that sustainable? So I probably would have questioned it, but at the same time, like in hindsight now, it's like
I ain't gonna say he probably wouldn't have questioned it. He would have questioned it, and I think I think a lot of people, a lot of people would have questioned that trade, man. Like
because of what you spent on those players,
right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like anybody would have been like, so you're trading a guy that just literally could have broke the single season rushing record, and a guy that like you could have made an argument for as a top 5 wide receiver. Like in the league for, a guy that like had a couple of really good weeks. And to your point, ATN, but even with ATN, man, like I've said this before, like ATN has got the pedigree. He's done it before. So like, I've never been like, nah on him. Like I don't have him like
I got him when he was cheap.
Yeah. So. Like, right. Like I don't like, I've never had a problem with him and then for you to then trade ETN and Gatson for Ibuka,
Exactly.
like that's a really good trade for sure, bro. Like that's a really good trade because like everybody and their mom was screaming about Ibuka. So for you to be able to pry him loose kind of sucks now because the quarterback situation, but for you to be able to pry him loose from somebody after all the shit he did, man, like those are some good moves, man.
Definitely. And that's the thing about trades. Like, you're not going to really solely, truly know when, like, a trade happens and you're like, oh, no, see, you know, this. You don't really know. You say it's a good trade. It's not a fair trade. But you just never really know. So
Don't know anything.
Nope. Just a couple of C-plus podcasters out here. Hey, y'all. What up, yo? What up? This is definitely a new name. What up, KD? Like and subscribe to the channel, my guy. Feel free to tell us how our work is. But did I win this trade? Trading away Javonte, Bowers, and I'm guessing Troy Franklin.
Yeah.
Get JT, Gadsden, Sutton. I mean, look, something like this for JT in a package like this makes sense. Did I say you overpay? Not really. I think it's just right on par. Because Javonte has still been having a really decent year. Bowers, obviously, you know, he had that blow-up game and then kind of came back down to earth. Like, so if you got those two in a trade and then Franklin for JT, and probably someone else alone, that would have been fine. But then you end up getting a third piece in the trade. So yeah, like I think you won the trade in my opinion. It's just more about like you know, Johnny talked about this earlier last week when it comes down to like some of these players that are not in the race, like Bowers, for instance. I think there's a perfect trade, you know what I'm saying, to acquire someone like JT in this scenario where it was like, again, like when we talk about this type of scenario, it's like you got to go get somebody that's like worthy of like what you have back, and this was totally worth it. So I mean, yeah, Javonte could probably go out there and still do decent, you know what I'm saying, the rest of the way, but this is a trade that you totally smashed. Running backs here are so new running backs are JT, Jacobs, Kyron.
Yeah, this is comical.
What? How are you playing there, bro?
It's comical. This is comical.
Receivers, JSN, Lamb.
Comical.
And then Sutton, Watson, and Godwin.
Literally comical.
Texans defense.
Comical. Yeah, bro, you won. You won. Like, yeah, you won. Like, there ain't no ifs, ands, and buts of that. Yeah, like you upgraded it running back. Like, again, like I'm so fearful of Brock Bowers just being sat like week 16 and week 17. Like that is like one of to your point, like that. So that is like one of my biggest fears. And that, for as great as Brock Bowers is, that team is a mess. They are a mess, bro. And then like Franklin and Sutton, like they're a mess. They are a mess, dude. Like, dude, like look, I don't mind Ashton Genty. Like, I actually I truly don't. Like, I don't mind him. But how could you not know that was just going to be an incredibly shitty situation? Like,
I think people knew, but it was still
and I get it. Like, I get it. Like, trust me, I've had plenty of terrible takes this year. Trust me. But that was just that was a layup one. You said you're worried about JT's schedule upcoming. I mean, I'll check it out and see. But honestly, man,
Houston's obviously in that fold, obviously this week. But
yeah, but
Jonathan Taylor, we know was basically just this is something where you trade for a guy that's been doing it all year long.
South shit is, you know
what I'm saying, and it's cold. I mean, honestly, it's not the craziest, not the craziest schedule in my opinion. You're at home this week. At home, Colts are at home this week against Texans. Away against Jacksonville, away at Seattle. Excuse me. And then you get the Niners at home. So I think week 17 would be the Jags Colts again, right?
Yeah, Jackson Colts is week 17.
Well,
yeah.
It's not a wow, like he has a chance to do what he's been doing all year schedule. But it's still Jonathan Taylor. What else do you need to see?
That's trust me. Like your opponent looks at your fantasy roster and sees Jonathan Taylor, bro. Their Sunday is going to be miserable. Thank you, Haywood. Yes, Haywood. Jesus.
I know.
You got to, man. You got to. I'll tell you who you don't start him against, though. You don't start him against the 25 Steelers. Go figure. God, I'm sorry. All right, I'm done.
Oh man, yo. Okay, both on the Ravens here. Getting to our last game of the slates. We're going into tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, but Friday. Black Friday. Amazon. Bears getting 7 going into Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Both teams 8-3 on the year. Yeah, look. Right now, this defense for the Bears, like, that shit, again, just like Jacksonville, opportunistic defenses. Like, they literally are 28th when it comes to the run defense, but they're optimistic in overall turnover rate. So, like, riddle me that. Caleb Williams and his Bears offense, like, keep doing it on a week-by-week basis. Like, they're cooking. They lead in the NFC North right now. No one expected them to lead the division. I do think that the Bears were coming in as a playoff team, but I didn't expect them to lead the division at this point in the season.
Nobody would have. It would have been the Lions. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, so just based on how the division stacks up in general. But, yeah, your boy Caleb Williams doing his thing. Taking on the Eagles where, you know, again, a lot of things. It feels like every week we're dealing with something with the Eagles coming out of their camp. Whether it be A.J. Brown, this offensive line banged up. Barkley is not what he used to be anymore. Jalen Hurts can't throw the football. The defense, da-da-da. They go up to a 21-point lead, and they lose it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always something weird with Philly going on every week, feels like. But again, going back to the Dallas script, like, they didn't score any more points after 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. They were up 21-0. 10 minutes to go in the second quarter, and don't score another point the rest of the game. So, look, this is literally gut check time for the Eagles. Gonna take them to cover. If they do not cover the line, and if they do not showcase that this offense has what it takes, and I mean, not saying they have to beat down the Bears. I think they're a solid team. I just think when it comes to you being at home, all the stuff that just happened, I told you that if they didn't go out and beat that, you know, they left Dallas a little window for them to come back into by letting them win. Like, I think the first things first, Devontae Smith may not play this game. It's possible. I have no idea what his injury report was. I know he didn't practice today or something. Feel free to give me some clarity. But I would say, look, like, A.J. Brown show once again. Bears corners are still not looking good out there. I'll say this, I'm going to take the Eagles, I'm going to take the points, and because of, if the Eagles don't do this, I'm counting them out. It is a wrap. Because, look, you can't do this. You can't just be this team that you're supposed to take care of business against a division opponent. The fact that you started to and then you let all that momentum go and you lose the game, and then you come into a situation going back at home with a bad taste in your mouth. If the Eagles, like I said, don't put in their run, I don't understand. Looking at the tape, I don't understand why. What I forgot the offense coordinator's name for the Eagles now, but he is running the most vanilla run plays I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think that was a big concern. Like during the offseason, that was a big concern.
Crazy what they're doing. Like not what they're doing. I understand the offensive lines are healthy, whatever. Regardless of that. It's like the run play calls I'm seeing with Barkley doesn't make any sense. You can't keep on running in between the guards all the time. And then where's the design more runs for Hurts here? Like, there's not even enough of that. So, look, again, you're going to be facing the 28th ranked run defense in the Bears. You better go out there and establish the run early. If you don't, you're just looking like a bunch of saps. So, that being said, look, it is what it is right now, but I think the Eagles are a better team than what they are right now. But it's also like, again, like when it comes down to it, if they do not handle business, I'm just not going to take them seriously the rest of the season. But yeah, continue, Johnny. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, dear Philadelphia Eagles, how dare you? How dare you go out and lose or not play up to Super Bowl potential against another 8-3 team in the NFC. Because if that happens, you're dead. You're over. You're cooked.
Exactly.
You're cooked.
Toast.
You're cooked.
Toast. You're cooked.
You're cooked. Like no, like the Bears, like it's no, like it's the Bears, like this ain't no walk in the park, man. 28 explosive plays, 49% success rate on design runs since week 5, bro. Talking about the Bears in this space. Like, don't got to talk about Caleb Williams. Like, we know what it is. Rome Stone Hands of Doomsday. 84 targets this year, caught 42 of them. That is the 3rd lowest catch rate. Remember back in week 2, week 3, when it looked like he was on pace to be like the offensive player of the year, and he's just completely he's flopped like concrete cupcakes out here, man. Like it's bad. It is bad. And then so now right now Saquon Barkley ran for 829 yards before contact in 2024. 207 more than any running back since 2017. This season, 185 yards before contact. So while we may be all about the offensive coordinator for the Eagles, that's a very telling stat as well, because I ain't going to throw no shade. I love all my peeps back home, but like I played running back on some bad teams in high school. You can't do a whole lot of nothing if you can't get to the line of scrimmage. So, like, I'll say that. And, like, the Philadelphia Eagles, like, Devontae Smith, it was a chest and shoulder injury is what it was, like, with him. As far as, like, what's going on, which I feel like, if you weigh 189 pounds, it's bound to happen out there, taking grown man hits all the time. The Bears, like, I think the thing for me, like, now is, like, you're starting to see, like, Ben Johnson, his fingerprints on things. Like, and I said this Sunday.
Yeah.
Would not, and still not shocked, like the fact that like they went out there, the Steelers went out there and got out coached and out schemed by that coaching staff. And I think
I wouldn't say coach, would you? I would say out schemed, because like the game.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, any Pittsburgh Steeler fan right now will tell you they got out coached. We've been getting out coached. Listen, bro. Again, do I have to revisit the third down shenanigans with DJ Moore? Do I have to talk about the offensive ineptitude? Do I have to talk about that? Are you gonna make me talk about that?
No,
because did you see James Harrison going absolutely nuclear on the coaching staff? Did you see Trey Essex absolutely calling out the Pittsburgh Steelers coaching staff? Did you see that? Because I did. So,
did you see that?
Because like the Bears, I think like to everything you were just talking about, like that's the problem with the Philadelphia Eagles. Those are exactly the reasons why this is a bad matchup for him. Because Ben Johnson, like that's why this is a bad matchup. So like I haven't went full bore as far as like, the research like in this space, like with this game, but I just think on the surface, like 7 points, that's a lot for a team that's 8-3, and either Vegas knows something that we don't. And granted, like, the Steelers offense is mid, but you would also think as well, like Caleb Williams has also done a really good job, man, at not turning the ball over at like high clips. Right. So I don't know. I just think that's a lot of points. Not playing the showdown slate because unfortunately I'll be working on Black Friday. But like that is a big number, I think, for a team that's 8-3 and for a team that has a lot of momentum in the Chicago Bears.
Well, Bears are 26, average 26 points per game. I'm saying they're 8th in the NFL in points scored. So like to your point, yeah, I think 7 points is definitely a lot for Chicago. I just think that I don't know. Maybe the books do something weird.
Maybe.
It just comes down to like, can the Eagles consistently put up the points that they need to in this spot? That's why I like the over in this spot, because like Hurts gonna have to come out here and it just feels like the Eagles offense from a passing perspective still is like not where it needs to be after 12 weeks into the season.
I got you. I got you with that. Like, not to interrupt, because like I hate to do that, but like I'll tell you, since week 9, Jalen Hurts is 3 of 11 on deep throws for 111 yards. Now, Jalen Hurts also has 726 yards, which is the second most in the NFL, and 7 touchdowns on deep passes, and hasn't thrown an interception since week 2. So, like, the entire story can tell you a different story, but like, no. Actually, fun fact, Haywood, I wasn't the backup quarterback, but as you can imagine, as Cordell Stewart was my favorite. Like one time in middle school, I did do that.
I was a Wildcat quarterback, but
yeah, listen, just ahead of my time, bro. Backup kicker, absolutely not. Defensive end and Pop Warner. I would say, listen, whatever Percy Harvin looked like on a whatever Percy Harvin whatever he looked like on a really bad high school team is what I would look like, man. So I'm definitely not going to pump myself up and be like I'm some kind of goat or something, but no, absolutely not. So.
That's funny. So yeah, look, I think, like I said, 7 points is definitely a lot, but I'm gonna stick to that stance. Yeah, taking the Eagles here. Taking your Bears. I mean, not your Bears, but
no, they're not my Bears. But Caleb Williams is my boy, and I'm riding with him, man, for sure. Like again, gotta ride with what's brought me to the party, man. And something's brought me to the party in a couple of them, so I'm riding with him.
So how do you feel about him rest of the way, his schedule and stuff?
Like honestly, man, I mean, like I'll tell you, man, like a lot of my leagues that I have Caleb Williams in, and a lot of those leagues also have Sam Darnold as well. Yep. So like for me, like I feel like I'm just gonna play the matchup like in either one of those spaces. Like I'm not overly committed. I think even like in the Cookout League, I think I got Dak, Caleb, and Sam Darnold, I think, are my 3 quarterbacks in that space. So like I'm not overly committing to anybody like at this point, because I think like obviously like I'm at a space now where it's like, okay, like I don't have to prove to anybody that I was right about a player. It's like now it's just more about bringing it home. And so like having the options, like with Sam Darnold, like specifically for me, I think is like the biggest piece. And even in one of the other leagues I'm in, I think I have Caleb Williams and I have Jalen Hurts. So like I almost never play Caleb Williams. Like, he was like one of my last picks. I got him in like round 12. In that draft. So like I just have him just hanging there. Yeah. So that's really what it is for me with Caleb is like, hey man, like I'm just gonna, at this point, like everybody's limping through the finish line. Everybody's got bad matchups, right? We just seen like JT and like his schedule coming down the stretch. Like, if you got Bijan and you're, whatever, like again, like that's a really bad situation to be in. So, like, I think it's at this point, like, you don't have a choice. Like, you have to play these guys that brought you to the party. So, yes, Haywood, he is 1,000%. 1,000%. And you know what? The only thing that makes me really scared about this, Haywood.
Here we go. Here we go.
Is the fact that I told you about all the reasons why we should play him. So, it just makes sense that Zay Nuclear Flowers would go off. No, Chase, man, gosh, if he doesn't crush tomorrow, man, oh my God, bro. Man. Actually, I'll quote some of the guys at work. Man, it's rigged, man. It's rigged. It's rigged, man. It's rigged. It's rigged. They know. They got the call. The call to fix is in. The fix is in.
Fix is in. They called Vegas. They called Vegas, man. But yep. Time to go to y'all know what it is. It's time to go to Nick's Prop Shop. 94 and 60 on the year. 61% year to date still. We had a 7-6 week 12. Couple injuries, fortunately. But at the same time, that's just betting for you. Came away 2-0 to end the week. Shout out to Kittle, shout out to Jalen Coker, helping us out on Monday. But that being said, look, to the prop shop we go for the special Thanksgiving slate. So first one I got for you is Jahmyr Gibbs over 110 total, 110 and a half scrimmage yards. Talked about this earlier with the Packers. they have allowed 3 of the last 4 running backs in the last 4 games to go over to over 100 total yards. And Jahmyr Gibbs has averaged 194 total yards the last 3 games. So ride the hot train on this one. This line's just a bit too low. Even in a game where Detroit may not be running the football as much, we all know Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be able to, get passes out the backfield, work against the second, the overall the linebackers in Green Bay. I see the 4.5 catches, so if you want to take that too, you feel free to do so as well. Amon-Ra St. Brown over 6.5 catches. Look, this guy's a machine at home. Like, he's only had 1 game at home where he's had 6 catches. The rest of them, he's had 9 catches or more at home. So this line, way too low. Should be easily, 7 should be 7.5 easily. But obviously, in a matchup where, it was a get right spot last week against New York, I still think that he's going to be very utilized in this game in terms of how the play calling is shaped up, because obviously J-Mo can't, get any usage anymore. He only gets 3 targets and can't even catch a ball anymore in this offense. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, easy, 6.5 over. Again, he's done this in all but 1 game at home this year. Christian Watson, 60 yards or more. He should be really the beneficiary in this matchup. Talked about it earlier. Lions are the 4th best matchup to receivers because they play a ton of man coverage. So, back's turn, what's about to happen. A deep ball shot. You can take the longest reception. Seen people taking that, but I'm going to take 60 receiving yards. I do think Watson's going to be very utilized in this matchup. Romeo Dobbs, I think it's solid for 44.5 receiving yards too. So you like that, you can go with that too. Josh Jacobs is back, so I saw him for 60 yards, but I'm just going to go with Christian Watson here and call it a day. Last but not least, Jacobs, anytime touchdown, because he's done this. I think the last time they played, I think he's done this in every game he's played as a Green Bay Packer. I'll have to double check my research on that one, but Jacobs, anytime touchdown.
9 of his last 11 games, TD.
Very close. So yeah, anytime touchdown for Jacobs, I'm gonna take that. Next game we go to Chiefs and Cowboys. Rashee Rice over 75.5 receiving yards. Again, talked about earlier, Dallas still plays 4th most zone coverage in the NFL. They play 80% of the time. So that's going to benefit Rashee Rice, going to benefit Travis Kelce, but I'm going to go Rashee Rice. I know the Cowboys have been really decent against slot receivers, but Rashee Rice is he's a matchup nightmare. So I'd like this line easily for what it is. The Cowgirls give up 3.44 yards per route run. So we know Rice again is a zone killer. So we're going with that. Mahomes over 22.5 rushing yards. Cowgirls surrender the 3rd most QB rush yards to opposing quarterbacks. And then I talked about that earlier. Chiefs lead the NFL in pass rate over expected. So that should lead for, these situations that they're more neutral to passing, should still find a run lane or two for Mahomes to run through. And again, if Quentin Williams is not playing, this line is definitely going to go up. So take it now while you can. To the late slate game we go. Got Chase Brown over 19.5 receiving yards. And then we also have the 3.5 catches at plus money. So I'm going to take both of them because I like plus money, especially in a spot where no T. Higgins. Should get a little bit more Gesicki and should get a little bit more Yoshivas and Mitchell Tinsley, stuff like that. But Chase Brown should be the stable. Burrow loves checking down the ball, and he should do that at least, outside of getting Chase the football. Should get Chase Brown the football as well. Chase Brown is just a lot better running back utilized when Burrow plays overall. So I'm going there. Jamar Chase, we talked about it earlier. You can take the 100 total 100 receiving yards in this spot as well. Just going to go safe with the 90. We all know, we just talked about it earlier. Jamar Chase cooks the Ravens on a consistent basis. And then he obviously gets his best friend back in Joe Burrow. So should be a lock for most people's parlays. King Henry, over 91.5 rush yards. Henry's really looked like King Henry once again because it wasn't looking good. Obviously, you didn't have Lamar in the lineup. But when it comes down to it, it's King Henry. Again, Cincinnati, the worst run defense in the NFL. if Derrick Henry doesn't do it in this spot, I don't know when he will, but took him last week. It was a little short. We're going to go right back to him in the spot. Last but not least, 2 more props for the Black Friday. I got Swift, 60-plus total yards. Look, it's more of a gut feeling here because Swift is one of those running backs that is going to easily be able to take, check downs out the backfield. I believe that Johnson's going to be able to scheme him up pretty well against Philly. And we all know that, the field is, they're going to have their hands full a little bit on some other weapons in this offense. So I do think game script wise, I think the 60 for total yards for Swift is too low. I know Monunga is taking more of the running back share and stuff like that, but I like this line for Swift. Like, we've attacked this line before, and we're 2 for 2 on this on the year. So I'm going right back to that in the well. Then Jalen Hurts over 30 yards rushing or more. Look, like I talked about earlier, Chicago 28th in run defense. You're going to have to scheme up Hurts for some design runs. And I do think this is the perfect spot to call for that. And then lastly, because it wasn't in my original section, but Joe Burrow over 260 pass yards. It's him and Jamar Chase, like the rest of the offense. What else is there to like? And that's what I like for overall the bets for this Thanksgiving Black Friday edition. Going back to the chat. Yeah, bro. Yeah. And Johnny. Yep.
Yeah. I'm getting off the schneid for Thanksgiving. I'm putting it out there.
Hell yeah, you are. Shit.
Getting off the schneid. Yeah, getting off the schneid. So.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Definitely got the schneid for sure, bro.
Yeah.
Carlito. But yeah, K-Space. Yeah, hey man, pick yep, we answered that already, brother. Got to go back to the line. But yeah.
Thanks.
Appreciate it, my guy. Please tell all your friends and family about us, your favorite fantasy football homeboys out here. That being said, Johnny, you know what time it is. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, like obviously, man, enjoy the holiday for sure. Like Thanksgiving, football on Thursday. It's kind of hard to get better than that with friends, family, and loved ones for sure. Black Friday, if you're working, that kind of sucks. Like me, if not, but even still, like you get, some college football on Friday as well on top of Black Friday. Then obviously you got college on Saturday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And Monday. So like really like 5 days of football, man. It's kind of hard to beat this time for sure. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then the other thing, man, is like, we're getting done just right in time, man. Getting ready to watch some Stranger Things and build some DFS lineups and throw in some bets, man, and go kick it with all 45 of my family tomorrow. So it should be a great time, man. So I'm looking forward to it.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Again, enjoy your family, enjoy the time spent. Again, take some time just take a little bit of time for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously it's family stuff, but take a little bit of time for yourself out there. To just debrief. And yeah, if you have to work Friday, it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Grateful.
Be thankful you got a job.
You have a job, you have money, and it's over your head, you know what I'm saying? You got a car to drive, you know what I'm saying? Or if you got transportation to go other places, like, just again, that being said, again, appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, Haywood, our superstar, always coming through for us. And again, grateful for all you know what I'm saying? Because y'all make the show go. You know what I'm saying? Me and Johnny, we your favorite fantasy football homeboys, but we ain't nothing without y'all. We ain't nothing about our crew. We ain't nothing without our group here showing us love. All the new people that came in, please like, subscribe once again. And if there's ways that you want to communicate with us, feel free to do that on the X. Follow us there. We'd like to follow you back as well. But again, next time you'll see us is Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Again, your favorite fantasy football homeboys out here going to break down the slates. I'll give you guys some advice. And again, we out here. So that being said, for Johnny, myself, we out. We'll see you all Sunday morning. Peace.